listening to the Art of Homeschooling Podcast, where we help parents cultivate creativity and connection at home. I'm your host, Jean Miller, and here on this podcast, you'll find stories and inspiration to bring you the confidence you need to make homeschooling work for your family. Let's begin. Welcome. Jean here, and you're listening to the Art of Homeschooling Podcast. If you've been feeling a little unsteady in your homeschooling lately, or if your days feel kind of wobbly, or your rhythm feels harder to hold than it did a few weeks ago, or perhaps in the fall, I want you to know something right away here. You do not need a brand new rhythm. I know that's often where we go, but you definitely do not need to start over. I see so many homeschoolers make that mistake. I made it myself. The truth is that most of the time, what we're really longing for is just one steady place to return to, one dependable moment in the day that helps everything else feel a little more grounded. That's where your rhythm is going to grow from and expand from, especially in the heart of winter when energy is kind of low and patience is even thinner. Rhythm doesn't disappear. It just asks us to simplify. So today, instead of talking about your whole day or your entire schedule, I want to focus on something much smaller and much more powerful. I want to talk about rhythm anchors or rhythm anchor points. So a rhythm anchor is one simple repeated moment in your day that you protect, not because everything is going so well, but especially when it isn't. In this episode, I'll help you notice which anchor point your homeschool might be asking for right now, and how tending to just one steady rhythm, one steady beat, can make your days feel calmer and more doable without adding anything new. Inside the Inspired at Home community this February, we're going deep into rhythm. So if you want to join us over there, check the link in the show notes for this episode over at artofhomeschooling.com/episode 245. Here's what I want you to remember today. You do not need a perfect rhythm. You need one dependable place to return to. Just start there. This episode is about anchoring, not planning more, because rhythm feels fragile in wintertime. The month of February especially can feel kind of long or flat or foggy, like we're a little lost at sea, trying to get back into our lesson rhythm, our daily rhythm. That doesn't mean your rhythm is completely off. So rhythm doesn't disappear. It just asks for fewer moving pieces and parts. So let's find your anchor again. Just a quick recap here on rhythm. Rhythm is not a schedule. There are no rigid timestamps involved here. Rhythm is a repetition that builds a sense of safety, helps our children know what to expect. It's just a steady beat, like one activity that flows after another that helps us feel like we are being carried along as opposed to forcing things to happen. So here's a reframe for you. One repeated moment can actually stabilize the whole day. That's the power of rhythm. So now let's talk about a rhythm anchor. This is the best place to start when we're talking about rhythm, and that is by creating anchor points. Anchor points in your day, anchor points in your week. A rhythm anchor is just one small repeated moment that you fiercely protect, even on hard days. And here are just a few examples. A morning opening verse with a candle. That could be your one thing that helps ground you and repeats day after day. Or an after lunch read aloud together. An end of day 10-minute tidy with a song. Super simple. These are all super simple, but very nourishing. I encourage you to try this and see how calming it can be. Just choose one anchor point to add to your day. Here's a little guidance on how to choose. Some questions to ask yourself. Which part of the day already almost works? Or where do things unravel really quickly? Or where do you feel most rushed or scattered? Start there. Not everywhere. Don't try to redo everything at once. Just start with this one place. Before we wrap up, I want to offer you a short reflection so you can pause and try this. I want you just to listen for what's calling to you right now. A little visualization for you. Here we go. If you're able, find a comfy place to rest. You might even close your eyes. Let your shoulders soften. Take a deep breath in through your nose and let it out slowly. Now, gently ask yourself this question without trying to fix anything or solve anything. Where in our day do we most need something steady right now? Not the whole day, not the whole week, just one small moment. As you sit with that question, notice what comes up. It might be a time of day, it might be a transition between activities, or it might simply be a feeling. And then I want you to ask yourself one more question. What is one simple, repeatable thing we could return to there? Something that already feels familiar or comforting. Let the answer be small. Let it be gentle. Let it be simple and feel nourishing. Now, when you're ready, take one more deep breath in and blow it out and come back to the here and now. Here's my final tip for you. Winter rhythm isn't about adding structure. It's about reducing friction. Rhythm naturally shifts with the seasons. And in lots of places around the world right now, we've had additional snow more than usual, or freezing cold temperatures, or ice. There have been a lot of wintry experiences going on, and rhythm can be affected by that. So here's what we often need. We need to find a new anchor point in our homeschool days to ground us. Now, I want to tell you a little bit more about what we're doing inside the Inspired at Home community this February. We're going deeper into seasonal planning, the idea of how you take the energy of the seasons and use that as you think about your plans for your homeschool lessons. We're exploring how rhythm naturally shifts with the seasons and how to plan in a way that honors those shifts, and the points in the year when we kind of need to regroup. So this podcast episode offers one simple strategy, choosing one anchor point that your homeschool needs right now. The membership community is where we take that awareness and gently work with it over time, practicing together in real life. We'd love to have you join us in the Inspired at Home community, and you can check out the link in the show notes at artofhomeschooling.com/episode 245. Here are a few thoughts for you as we close. Rhythm isn't something we accomplish. It's something we return to that can carry us along. And often the most supportive rhythms aren't the ones that look impressive on paper. They're the ones that quietly hold us when things feel tender or uneven. So if your homeschool feels a little wobbly right now, I hope this episode reminded you that you do not need to redesign everything. You just need to start with one steady anchor point. And that anchor can shift with the seasons, with your children, with you. For today, Let it be enough to notice what needs tending and to trust that small, steady rhythms are more than enough to carry you forward. Thanks so much for being here, and I'll see you next time. That's all for today, my friend. But here's what I want you to remember. Rather than perfection, let's focus on connection. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode of the Art of Homeschooling Podcast.